And there we go. Okay. One of these days, we'll actually do an episode without any technical issues. No, we'll figure
Like that will ever happen.
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But yep, first episode of 2026.
Finally.
Yes, first episode of 2026. We are back with Films and Fandoms. I'm once again joined by Alex. And
we've had technical
technical
issues
issues
again.
we had, yes.
Sorry,
I'm
I'm
eating
eating my candy.
No, you're good. You're good. No, yeah. So today we're going to be talking about Leverage Season 3, Episode 2, The Reunion Job. It's still insane to me that we're on Season 3 now. Like, we're on Season 3. Yeah, so, yep, this episode's The Reunion Job. So, a bit of a summary before we get into this episode. Or actually, before we get into this podcast episode, I want to thank our sponsor, navgo.org. And if you want to support the podcast, you can buy us a coffee on Ko-Fi. You can scan the lovely QR code in the corner there, or you could go to the link that I just put in the chat. And buy coffee on Ko-Fi and help support the podcast because it is not easy doing this podcast, as we've just demonstrated. And also, it takes money to run this program and make the podcast look like this. So, yeah, it would be very helpful if you donate buy a coffee for us. And yeah, so, yep, we're going to be talking the reunion job. Bit of a summary before we get into this episode. To uncover the password to a corrupt surveillance program, the team goes undercover at a high school reunion to take down a software magnate. The director for this episode is Mr. Two Takes Frakes himself, Jonathan Frakes. And the writing, I mean, to be fair, if you know what you're doing, you could film an entire movie in 2 takes. Like, you could film a scene in 2 takes. Yeah, the writers for this episode are Michael Colton, John Obud, and Christine Boylan. So, yeah. So I think, Christine Boylan, but I think John Obud and Michael Colton are some new faces. In terms of in the writers' room, because I haven't seen those names yet. I don't believe. But if we're gonna say, what was that like chirping?
I have no idea.
There was a chirping for a second. Anyways, so to start off this episode, we see in a dorm room where we see a hacker getting arrested as he's hacking, and you see like these masked men take like a magnet to his computer, like wave it across, and that like deletes all the data, because that's supposed to be like the actual way to like delete information is with like a magnet, like a really powerful magnet. And that the hacker gets beat up. So intro. So yeah, this is because I don't think we got the classic intro in the last episode. So I think it's the same intro as always, too. Yeah, so we get into this client meeting where we meet the name of our client, the hacker, Cyrus Madavi. And he's very, like you see, he has a good shiner. And he's pretty shaken up, and he explains that he was trying to take down this surveillance program called Manticore. And Hardison, of course, has to assist with the explanation of like what's going on with this program, like what it's being used for. And like Cyrus could like continue to explain that he's trying to shut this program down because his people are planning a protest using, well, they planned it using the internet, but Manticore is tracking through the internet because that's part of the program. And they're trying to do a protest right before the election, Cyrus's people. And so they're trying to get like the protests going for the upcoming Iranian election. But if Manticore is online when that happens, basically everyone who's a part of like the group is going to get arrested and then movement shut down. So of course Nate's kind of like, no, we're not spy hunters. But like Cyrus is like, well, I can't go to the FBI because my activities violate my student visa. So yeah, so he can't go to the FBI because then he'd essentially be screwing himself in the process.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna lie is kind of a shitty situation to be in. But that's exactly the type of stuff that like the team is for. Now he's just trying to make sure his people can do a protest safely and also not get arrested because he has family back in Iran and he can't even speak to them for fear of Manticore tracking them. So that's kind of the name of the job that they're doing. And Cyrus wants his data back, and Nate says they'll discuss it and get back to him. And of course, Cyrus then leaves, and he kind of looks a little bit like defeated as he walks away.
I think he was expecting a yes.
I think so too. But also, like, Hardison immediately, there's next at him is like, discuss it. And then it's like, oh, like, Hardison, this is so not our game. And Hardison is basically like, no, the fuck it ain't. Like, this is exactly our game. Like, Cyrus could be using his talents at like Google and Microsoft, but instead he's using it to like help his people. And like, that's exactly what we do. And like, no one else is going to help him. So that leaves us.
I like Hardison reminding Nate what they do.
Yeah. But there's a reason Nate's doing this. And well, we'll see that in a second. But then Elliot, all of a sudden, you just hear Elliot's voice going, he wasn't hit by the Vezrat. And they just turn like, what the fuck? And then Elliot turns around and then gets into like the booth opposite side of him. And they're all like, what the fuck you doing? And Elliot's like, I'm a lurker. It's my thing. And so
to be fair, look Elliot's face when he says that.
Like, I'm like, duh.
It's like,
like, duh. Of course I'm a lurker. Yeah, then like Elliot's like, no, Elliot explains that basically the Vezrat is the Iranian secret police, and that if it was them, then Cyrus would basically be dead and they're not talking to them. And then Nate's like, oh, the Vezrat's still like the logical choice. So let's check our sources, see if the Vezrat have any safe houses in the area. And Hardison just looks at Nate and is like, so we're taking the job. And Nate's like, oh, we were always taking the job. I just wanted you to tell me why. And Hardison gets so pissed off because Nate, like, Elliot's just like smirking and Nate like just gets up, Elliot's arms, and it's like not cool. Like you don't like, I hate the mind games, and then Nate like does like that little thing, and it's like little shit stir, and then Elliot's like just escalating it by just laughing. Which Elliot's cute when he's like smirking all cockily.
Or like when he grins at all.
Yeah.
I like how
And
that
yes, I'm wearing
how
the flannel that it looks like Elliot's wearing it. That's why I have this on. He's wearing it. But,
yep. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry.
It's like he gets kind of like ooh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Sort of like in his head, and then it comes out in a smile, or even like subtle body language changing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that Christian brought Elliot. Because I think it's part Christian and part Elliot.
Yeah. And also something to notice that Elliot, you would almost expect this behavior out of Elliot for the whole like season. Well, not the whole season, but like previous seasons. You would have expected Elliot to be like lurking at client meetings and that, but we really don't see him do that. So I think this is like our first kind of hint that something's going on with Elliot that he's not telling anybody. Because he, yeah, well, I'm like, if you're obviously, we both know what the twist is, and so I'm liking that we're gonna be able to go back and look through like and find like the little clues hidden throughout like each episode about the twist, which is that Elliot used to work for the person they got to take down, Jamie Moreau. But I think this is the first hint, though, that we see that Elliot, something's at least going on with Elliot this season, because why would he be lurking at a random client meeting when he hasn't really done that before? So that's the. Are you
my orange soda?
Love it. Yeah, so moving on though, Hardison and Elliot then head to a restaurant and they go undercover as health inspectors. And Elliot, you kind of like, they go in, Elliot kind of picks up on the fact that the owner's like speaking Farsi. And then like a deadbolt gets locked with like a key. So Elliot, that's obviously a red flag for Elliot. And then Sophie, and so like they're doing their like health inspector bit that they gotta like walk around and inspect everything. And the owner's hesitant, like, oh, we've just inspected, everything's fine. But then Sophie just starts screaming about a cockroach. And so then that gets Elliot and Hardison convincing the owner to like look. Yeah, and then what's funny, Hardison goes with the owner, and Elliot stays back. And so it's like, oh, get it out of here. Like,
I mean, kind of see
the Miss Precious.
There's
just like, oh, thank you.
There's like a subtle like facial expression change through Hardison and Elliot. Where it's no longer Elliot, it's Aldous and Christian trying to fight character.
I feel like in the audio commentary, that's like they said something about how like if Aldous and Christian were in the scene together, they'd keep the cameras rolling because it would almost be like a fight about who would get like the button of the scene.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Or like there was in another I think it's either later or earlier. I can't remember which. Where they were doing like a back and forth between the two of them over something. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. And it was completely ad lib. They did not like go
If they add
on screen. I think in the audio commentary they've had in later season. I think it's from season 4 onward. There's like a block of like Christian and I'll just make stuff up.
I think
Pretty much. It's literally verbatim.
Yeah.
And I know this because they've admitted to it. And Dean has also said that at some point they're like let's just let the boy
let's just
do what they do.
Yeah, I just let him improv. Yeah, so kind of keep moving on with this episode. So Parker's, of course, using this whole health inspector thing to scope out the office. Harrison and Elliot, well, they're keeping everyone distracted in the kitchen. And Parker kind of hops on the computer, links up Hardison because he pulls up this dinky little like laptop thing that he uses one-handed to like snoop through the computer. And Nate can also see the screen. And then he points out this like little Manticore logo in the bottom corner. And apparently it's a Persian mythology it's like Persian for man-eater. Which I should have Googled what it meant, like what it was about, but I didn't. And I don't want to be like Googling a bunch of stuff during stuff, but you can Google that in your own time. But
yeah, it is also loosely based off. I think like an actual surveillance like program.
I think something like that. Yeah.
Or like sort of like computer like I can't remember if it was like a program or like an app or something.
Mm-hmm.
That I think the CIA came up with.
So if you're familiar,
to basically spy on other country.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know if you're familiar with the show Person of Interest. The Manticore is a lot similar to the Machine in that TV show.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that was kind of an observation, but moving on a bit. Hardison does click on the Manticore logo, but he can't really find anything. But Parker finds a ledger and a desk with the payment dated 3 weeks prior, and Hardison is able to match it to an update that happened to the system, and the payment was made to, or he finds where the payment was made. Then Hardison like whistles because he knows that this is like gonna be a little tougher than I think they originally thought. Because back at HQ, Hardison does the rundown, and we're introduced to our bad guy, Larry Duberman. Which, look, I love the writer's room, but that's a choice. I love the writer's room, and I love all the effort everyone's put in to every single episode of Leverage over the years. But the name Larry Duberman is a choice.
What hat did that come out?
I don't know. But our guest actor for this episode is Ray Cross. And Duberman is the founder and CEO of Dubertech. Which, if that doesn't scream narcissist, I mean, come on. Yeah, so, but basically, Hardison does the rundown on this guy, and he's like the godfather of like database security because he like wrote the book on it. And Hardison even has the book. So basically, they're like,
Wait, Hardison reads?
yeah. Oh god.
Oh gosh, I'm crying.
Yeah, you know what's yeah. So basically, they're like up shit creek right now with this bad guy. So what's funny is as Harson's doing this rundown, Elliot is like pouring tea, and Sophie's like patting him like on the arm for like I forget what he says. And she does like squeeze, and she does like thanks sugar, and like Elliot puts a sugar cube in the tea. What's funny is then they're like looking but don't say anything, and then Parker looks over, and then she looks at Sophie, and it's like, "Are you like brainwashing Elliot again?" And Sophie's like, just neuro linguistic programming."
And that is like a it's like a CIA tactic.
It's basically like subtle clues in order to get someone to do what you want them
subtle
to do.
clues and or like certain words that they just react.
I just realized I skipped over something by accident. So like Carson's going into like this detail about how like, or just keeps going about like the servers, and it's like so to get the hacking, and does apparently understand Godfather of database security. And then Nate notices articles about Doberman buying like Japanese art. So Nate says, have any of you ever trimmed a bonsai tree? And then Elliot,
of course, Elliot
says, and I wanted to smack him across the head with the newspaper. Says he has. And then he met a Japanese policewoman at a geisha bar.
Oh god.
Before Nate stops him, understandably. But like that was what it's like, Elliot, I love you. Oh. It was one of those moments. I wanted to roll up a piece of newspaper and just go like that being an asshole. Like, we don't do that, Elliot. We don't do that. But I mean, to be fair, this was like 2010, so like that was just you can't really. I mean, they do get better at like these type of jokes. I mean, this 2010, it wasn't like as big of a deal as it is now to make a joke like that. But like, I don't think anyone would write that nowadays.
Or if they did, it would be more subtle.
Well, that and also like the character would get called out.
True.
But what was funny is, well, then yeah, immediately start laughing because then Elliot realizes that he's been pouring Sophie tea, and it's just like, damn it. Sophie's like, you owe me for that roach business. And Elliot's like, damn it, Sophie, not again. Which implies that this is not the first time that Elliot has been brainwashed by Sophie to pour her tea.
My brain immediately went to, what do you mean not again?
Yeah, because like it's probably when Elliot's probably being a little bit of an asshole. That's Sophie's punishment for him. She makes him pour tea.
Or like serve like food or something.
Uh, yeah. So it's funny as the team all kind of starts googling, but so then we see the team infiltrating Duberman's building. Elliot uses like a gives him a bonsai, and Harrison and Elliot also, or Harrison and Parker, sorry, infiltrate, take the bonsai to get the fingerprint off of it, while Parker lifts a key card that allows him to unlock the office. So they go into the office, but they discover that Duberman's office is like a 1985 classroom, and that's including the 1985 technology, like the computer with like the big old screen, the big clunky keyboard, and floppy disks. Yes, I know what a floppy disk is. I am almost 23 years old.
Away.
We were the tail end of those, okay?
I know. Well, you were.
Y'all boomers need to stop acting like 2003 kids don't know old technology. Okay, we were the end.
But okay. When I saw the office, my brain went. What in the league get to Gibbs? Shit is this?
Yeah, but it actually, though, as Hardison kind of explains, it actually works to Duberman's advantage because no one can really hack into the system without being physically in the office, because there's no remote database that doesn't speak in a dead language. Modern computers can't even register that technology anymore.
Basically, they would have to do like what's called a hardwire hack.
Yeah,
where you have to plug in the computer.
Yeah, but that's it's a lot harder, more risk, more.
Yeah, you risk getting caught.
Yeah, so that's probably why Duberman hasn't been caught. And except for I was about to say except for Hardison, but then literally the next scene is Hardison trying to trying to get all these passwords, and he gets most of them, because one's Zabransky, one's Mandy Double D. I'll get into that in a minute. Then one's a locker combination. And so Sophie and Nate start realizing that Duberman's this is all high school stuff. But Hardison and Hardison accidentally sets off an alarm because they they get security gets notified that basically there's someone in the office. So they go to the office even though because Duberman left for lunch. So they're in the office. They got a GTFO. And they use the Japanese. They basically use statues to hide and then leave. So basically, at the bar, Nate's basically confirming that everything is related to Duberman's high school, because they find a teacher. They also find Mandy. And what's funny is Nate turns bit if we turn to the cheerleaders. And Mandy bats, and then she's oh, Mandy. It's back to smack everybody upside the head with the goddamn newspaper.
I was all right, let me get a squirt gun.
Yeah, the squirt gun. Or good old Gibbs slap.
Yes. I can literally see that happening.
Like, quit being a damn poor dog.
It's like, knock it off. We have a case to work.
I mean, it's boy humor. What do you expect? But anyway, so but what's funny is Parker, but like doesn't understand what double D means. It was funny. There's like seriously, and there's it's like 2 good scoops of vanilla. It's like
boy.
Like I'ma smack you.
Okay. Sorry. When I
smack him.
thought of the gift slap when you brought that up, I have to include this kind of along the same line.
Go ahead.
It's the story of how that actually originated. It was they were doing this really serious scene in like the early episodes. And Michael Weatherly, who plays DeNozo, was flirting with the background actor. And Mark is interviewing this like lieutenant or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this big shot. And he just walks over to Michael and smacks him on the back of the head and goes, not where we're working. And just walk away.
Because remember, kids, back of the head is a wake-up call.
Slap to the face is an insult.
Yes.
Thank you, it's
so basically, like, so there's that, like, kind of moving on a bit. So Nate basically is explaining it, like Doberman's obsessed with high school, and Sophie's like, oh, like you can't leave the past behind him. And he's got to prove himself. Which, when I tell you, when she said that, I felt called the fuck out. Because so y'all are lucky I even did this episode, because I have some high school trauma, okay? And this episode kind of brought me back to some of my high school trauma, because I was bullied relentlessly in high school. And I also kind of developed a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, being like, oh, I'm better than everyone else. And I want to show that I'm better than everyone else. So it is very easy to get into that mentality.
Yeah.
And there are
and I kind of got the when it's the actual they're back in the high school.
Oh, when they're actually at the reunion.
Yeah. And I'm like that would suck for one. And for two, who the hell would want to relive that? Me personally, no.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to any high school reunion. Respectfully. Yeah, I'm not going to any high school reunion. But also, no, Parker's like, oh, I feel bad for the nerd. It's like, hey, don't feel bad for him. Getting bullied in high school is no excuse for propping up dictators. And I was like, Hardison, he was bullied his entire high school career, and he's not a criminal. And now kind of like, well, it's like, okay, not a bad criminal. And then Hardison's like, why do you think I was bullied? Why are you taking shots at me? And it's like, A, you have a Green Hornet doll. Hers is it's a limited edition action figure. And it's Green Lantern, educate yourself. So I actually know what Green Hornet is. Now, because there was the movie, it was a pretty shitty movie. No offense to anyone involved in the Green Hornet movie with Seth Rogen.
It could have been better.
I know y'all worked hard on it. It's not your fault. I do know what Green Hornet is. Green Lantern is why I don't like DC. Because that was the first DC movie I watched was Green Lantern, and I thought it was shit. So that's why I don't like.
Again, it could have been better. The comics are better.
Ryan Reynolds. All due respect to Ryan Reynolds, even I know you don't like it. I'm sorry. I love your phone plan. Anyways. Yeah, so basically Nate stops the book room by explaining that like Diverman has made his old high school his Roman room, and then he goes on to explain that basically a Roman room is a way to memorize like passwords or something by corresponding objects to a space you're intimately familiar with. In Diverman's case, it's the hallway where his old locker was in high school. And then Nate kind of goes around explaining what his Roman room would be but his password would be using the bar as his Roman room. So like he picks up like a bottle of Balmore, and he does like he pats like this old guy on the bed. It's like, Fitzy here. There's like like obviously some regular at the bar. And then Parker just looks at Harrison and he's like, did he just give us all of his passwords? Harrison's like, no, but I got his passwords. Like, you want to see his Netflix queue? Like, he's got Sex in the City, like that. And then like he says, and that one show, Psych, and Rockford Files. So I think they just made it canon that Nate is a rom-com chick.
Maybe.
Okay, I probably shouldn't have worded it like that. He likes rom-coms.
I mean, but who doesn't?
I'm sorry, I get jealous every time I watch a rom-com. That's why I can't watch Community Rivalry, even though it's all over my TikTok page, because I get jealous. Because
okay. So I did watch a cheesy rom-com.
What one?
You know damn well which one. Glen Powell.
Oh, anyone
but you.
Anyone but you.
Yes. It was making fun of rom-com.
Yeah, that is making fun of rom-com. Yeah, because the whole point is they're trying to convince that it was like a real relationship. But so we then. So basic. I'm moving on. I'm moving on a bit. But yeah, so Nate then goes on and it's like, if we want the password, we have to break into the high school 25 years ago. So basically what they're doing is so what they do is they move up high school reunion. Yeah, so they move up a high school reunion, and Sophie plays two separate characters to get it moved up. So we see Duberman finding out about the reunion. Yeah, I was just told that I guess you are echoing, Alex, but I have no idea how to fix it. And we are
Me
live right now,
either.
so I don't think we could do anything about it right now anyway. So I am sorry. I have plans to figure it out tomorrow. Yeah, so what's what is Duberman finds out about this reunion and then is also pissing off the Iranians because he's on a Zoom call with them about like raising the price. Which why would you do that? But anyways, uh, Sophie is the one who called up Duberman and is saying about so he's saying like all these people are going to be there, including his crush. So Duberman like decides he's going to go. And then like Duberman does this evil speech of evil, basically being like, what is the point of having all these nice things if I can't rub it in their faces? What happened?
Sorry, my earbuds fell out.
Oh no. Oh, I was like, what happened? Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of the evil speech of evil is Duberman going, what's the point of me having all this if I can't rub it in their faces? Which once again is I was a little bit called out on because I may have done that on occasion, posted on TikTok about me going to like the fan screening of the Librarians next chapter, and then I made a TikTok to the song Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac with the ad playing in the background, basically being petty because I knew my last two exes would have loved
See that?
to go to experience to like go to that, and I did not then. And I also what else did I do?
That was funny.
What else did I show off?
Um,
I'm trying to think what else I did kind of showed off a little bit this past year.
when Dean promoted our
The podcast.
podcast.
Not the fuck off. And I also showed off that me and Dean Devlin are like pen pals on TikTok.
True.
Yeah. So I would say it's for different reasons, but like I'm just gonna go ahead and move on a little bit because I don't want to be getting I don't want to be getting way too personal. But so we see basically at the high school gym. So like this is some time has passed. At the high school gym, we see Parker setting up cameras, and the conversation naturally goes to what high school was like for them. Because Parker knows is like a big board that they have like pictures of like everyone from the 80s. And Parker's like, ugh, lots of ugly people and like bad outfits. And Hart's like, you didn't even go to high school. But she's actually like, she didn't go to high school because it's just heartbreaking homework.
Yep.
Yep. It was yeah, except I had an extra layer of trauma added on to that because I was still reeling with my parents' divorce in high school.
Girl, I was going through like some medical shit.
Yeah, that's also trauma. Yeah, that is also trauma. So we had it is. It is trauma. So we have very similar experience in high school. I was just adding to what Hardison said.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so basically us in high school It was heartbreak, homework, and trauma. It's no wonder we get along.
Hey!
Hey, six, almost 7 years we've been friends.
True.
You should know this by now.
I walked into that one.
You did. You should know that by now. Yeah. And it's also funny is we see a flashback because Parker's like, oh, you should go to your prom. And then we get a flashback to Hardison hacking the Bank of Iceland in order to pay his Nana's medical bills.
Aww.
Which I think I'm going to have to dig back into the behind the scenes. I think there is a separate. I think there's an extended version of this flashback where you hear Nana. Because it's like, are you on the computer again? And I was just like, Nana. Or something about that. It's like, and it's like, I think Nana says something along the lines of, I was just about God and dancing. I think strippers might have been I can't remember. But I know I remember that very differently, I think. But when we get to the season finale, I'll show like the behind the scenes and bloopers and stuff. But yeah, basically, so Elliot, then they go to Elliot because Elliot's got oh gosh and be like, so all of you are going to the dance and I'm on goon patrol. Which Elliot, quit you bitching. We know you like punching people.
That's what you do best.
And
Who said that?
don't get no, that is true. And to be fair, I think Elliot's the type who actually like he would like line dancing. He would like line dancing at a bar with a woman on his own, probably.
True.
But he would hate
or two stepping.
But he would hate the prom dancing.
Yes, that's very awkward.
So see, there's two differences there. And plus, I don't think Elliot would like being around that many like people.
True. He would be on hypervigilance.
Yeah, well, that's the PTSD.
Yep.
But so Elliot apparently also had he actually had kind of the opposite experience, as Elliot was the big man on campus at the start quarterback. So basically, he was the popular kid.
Yep.
In high school. And okay, so we get this flashback with Elliot, and to be fair, I'll give it a good A. I'll give it a good A minus on the casting of young Christian Kane. I'll give it a good A minus for the casting of young Christian Kane for Elliot. However, so Elliot has these like couple like jock buddies talking shit because Elliot is taking home ec. They're like, oh, like quarterbacks don't take home ec, and they're just like, hey, like I got my reasons, man. And a move that should have probably gotten this teacher fired, because why the fuck are you pushing your chest up against that teenage boy's shoulder? Like, why the fuck you doing that? Like, I was hearing dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? Like, come on. That teacher should have been fired for that. But also, so this is my retcon of this scene to make it appear less gross. Is that I think so and also like the teachers like teaching Elliot how to like use a knife. And this is where we first hear this. Well, this is the second time, sorry, we hear knives or people are like knives, everything's in context. Which we remember hearing from the wedding job back in season one.
Yep.
So my personal retcon is that Elliot was lying. And he was lying to keep up his macho image. I feel like his mama taught him to cook because he's a Southern boy. I know damn well his mama taught him how to cook. So if you think that, there's no real reason for Elliot to take home Mac. Because, like, mama's going to teach him everything anyways.
True.
I think in so I feel like the kind of the retcon version in the French Connection, well, it's like, it was Toby who taught me how to use a knife. I feel like that's like the real version, that it was Toby who like taught him to like I feel like Mama Spencer, God rest her soul, did teach Elliot to cook. But I'm wondering if she passed away when Elliot was like young. And then so Elliot didn't really have like a maternal figure to teach him how to cook. So that's where like Toby then stepped in later and kind of taught Elliot like how to like properly use the knife. So that's kind of my retcon. I think this flashback is basically Elliot lying to protect his macho image. Because if that was true, I feel like Papa Spencer wouldn't appreciate that. Because, I mean, seriously, why the fuck are you pushing your chest up against a teenage boy's shoulders? Come on now.
You realize
I was against that.
it probably wasn't like that. Like exactly.
True.
It's like
true.
over dramatic.
Also, why are you wearing a top that goddamn low if you're a teacher?
True.
Like, come on, man. But moving on. So Elliot then knocks out Doberman's assistant and stashes him, gets a key card, and goes inside. And then we see the reunion's kind of in full swing, and Parker's in a beaver costume, kind of like walking around, goes up to Doberman and is like, Badger, 85. And they got Sophie playing this fake classmate, Grace Pelt. And she's also like tapping his chest. And if you know what you're looking for, you see it, but it's probably like looks weird if like you're just watching this episode for the first time. But basically, we find out later that like she's priming him basically.
Yeah.
And Nate is playing like Doberman's rival, Drake McIntyre. Which, if that doesn't sound like a douchebag, I don't know what does. And of course, Nate just acts like himself, being a dick. And then Nate, like, goes up to Doberman and is like, Badger, 85. And Doberman's like, and I think he like keeps getting slapped. I think he keeps like getting slapped or something. Like he keeps like, or no, wait. I feel like he also does that, but I also feel like I mixed up a similar scene in Person of Interest, where they also have to go to a high school reunion, and Reese keeps getting smacked. But and Harson's basically got a hack on the fly because he's getting all this like attention. Nate's getting all this attention, so he's kind of like digging all these people to get info about him. And they try like a couple passwords, but none of them are working. One's like hermaphrodite, or Elliot's like, should I try hermaphrodite? Because Duberman says that like Drake convinced everyone he was a hermaphrodite, which is like someone like it's more boy humor that would not fly today. But anyways, none of that. So none of those passwords work, and there is one that works. I think it is Brander, but it just unlocks like a payroll, so it's not like the one they're looking for. And then inserts Nick, this like cheerleader type named Nikki. It comes in. Nate and Nikki kind of get a bit like hot and heavy, and, but then
Gross.
but then Nikki locks Nate in the storage closet. And what's funny is Nate's kept brothers be like, "Hey, Parker, this is my ex-flame locked me in the storage closet." So then Parker's got to go bail Nate out. And however, Elliot's got problems of his own because the Veteran are now grinding his door down. So Nikki then takes Doberman away from Sophie and like spills her drink on Sophie so Sophie can't like follow them. So Sophie meets with Nate Parker and Sophie calls Nikki. She's like, she give away that bloody little slut. Like, damn, Sophie. For some reason, I remembered like I feel like Sophie should have used the C word there. I feel like Sophie is the type of woman that like she wouldn't necessarily cuss like that, but she's not afraid to call a bitch a cunt. Okay.
True.
And also I kind of have a disdain for cheerleaders, but that's my personal experience dealing with cheerleaders. So maybe that's why I remember that being C word. Anyways, Hodderson then reveals that Nikki is not Nikki, but is an assassin for hire. It was funny as Sophie, which she had to have learned this word from Elliot, and it's the word hussy. Now I do not know where Sophie would have heard the word hussy, if not from Elliot.
I mean,
because British people don't use the word hussy.
Nope. That's the southern thing.
That's a southern insult.
Yep.
Which now I want to know why the hell Elliot would say the word hussy and why Sophie would know about it.
I don't know.
Because Sophie just, to be fair, Sophie could have done it in her own researching like southern characters. because this was like, what is she just some like hussy after his cash? And so, a little fun fact: the actress who plays the hitman is married. Pretty sure they still are. Is married to the hitman that we will see in the morning after job.
I forgot about that.
Yep. And if you look on IMDb, you'll see it. But yeah, the actress who plays the hit woman in this episode was married to the actor who will play the hit man. Sorry, we will see in the morning after job. Which I think they came up with like a personal like headcanon that did too, like the hitman from Morning After Job and the hit woman in this episode are like married in like the universe, like the Leverage universe, but are like both like bad hitman, which is true because like Nikki gets like Doberman in like the locker room, and then it's just like backs up, pulls out a gun, puts this silencer on it, and she does this whole like evil speech of evil thing. But yeah, so Nate's basically like okay, we gotta do this now because we're running out of time. We need that master password, so we gotta escalate this. What's funny is the Vezrat then like comes in to the he opens up the door a bit, sees Elliot, and is like, the health inspector? And Elliot does this like little shoulder shrug and is like, I gotta dock you again. Because he just played the health inspector, that's what like he'd say all the time, like, I gotta dock you. Also before beating up the Vezra with like the trophies and shit. We also get spinny thing because he spins the trophy, and then we also get Elliot saying checkmate because he uses a chess trophy to knock out his checkmate. So Sophie, we gotta talk about Sophie. And heels, fucking fire extinguisher, takes on an assassin by her damn self. I think she does take the heels off.
Yep.
She does take the heels off, which I think that's underrated in fight scenes featuring.
But actually, both of them take their heels off.
They do.
And they fight basically barefoot.
But Sophie uses the fire extinguisher to like disarm. Well, her name is Miranda. Miranda Miles, I think is her name. But yeah. So he uses the fire extinguisher, saves Doberman, then Sophie kind of runs. Doberman's long gone. Or no, Doberman's not, but Sophie just runs. It was funny is Nikki starts like shooting at her, misses a bunch. And she's like, Doberman! Like, bitch, you fucking missed. So I need to send that to Adam. Sorry, I'm distracted, but I need to write that down so I can send it to Adam so we could use it for a script one of these days because that would be fucking amazing
and hilarious.
Yes, just doing a fight scene, and then you just being like, "You missed, bitch." Anyways, yeah, I think Sophie kind of got personal with her little like speech there to like the hit woman because like just was like I always hated cheerleaders and like and also the mean girls. You know, like, it was mean girls like you who ruined high school for the rest of us, which I relate to because I too hated cheerleaders and I hated the popular mean girls in high school because they
Going to school and basically a rural town. We didn't have that.
so in my high school it was like everyone was lumped into like categories. You were either like low class, you were a cheerleader fucking someone on the football team, you were on the sports ball teams, or mommy and daddy had money and could basically pay your way for a good high school experience, or mommy and daddy were on the staff with like the categories of like all the students.
Well,
So
we had more of a
that's why my high school experience sucked.
small town
I was
type of thing.
I was the trailer. Well, I wasn't even trailer trash. I was just trash because like mommy and daddy didn't have money. I wasn't fucking no one on the football team. Was not a cheerleader. Was not in sports. And
okay, so we were more of like a rural, like country
yeah.
version of One Tree Hill, if that makes sense. For me.
Yeah. Yeah, so now you
That's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, but now you guys understand why I don't like cheerleaders. I'm sure, because no offense to cheerleaders out there, I know you work hard, but some of y'all little bitches. I'm sorry.
True.
I've never met a nice cheerleader in my life. I'm sorry.
But to be fair, football players are worse.
Yes.
Don't ask me how I know that.
No, I know that because one of the football players my brother played with, because my brother was the jock with the family. I clearly was not. But my brother would play football, and he broke his arm playing football. And then the little bastard who broke my brother's arm was bragging about it. So I told his brother that his little brother better stop talking shit about breaking my brother's arm, or I was going to beat the fuck out of him. By the way, that the older brother is now no, he actually married one of the my high school. It was like the high school, like a popular girl on the softball team and volleyball. But yeah, he was kind of the
one of my
school assholes.
Kind of like buddies in high school.
And they had a baby.
That's cool. One of my buddies in high school. He's like really into like wrestling.
Yeah.
And he's competing like professionally.
Oh, nice.
And another one of my favorite actors, Sean Patrick Flannery, hyped him up on his Instagram page.
That is awesome.
And I can reply back like in a DM to his story. And I go, I know him. He went to my school.
But see, then there's like the petty side of me, that because I am in like, I was a background extra in a Hollywood movie that's one of the things I did over the summer. And you may see me, you may not. I don't know. I haven't seen the final product. Basically, you may see me flipping off the camera. Okay, that's what you may see me doing. But I just want my classmates who have watched the movie, which is How to Rob a Bank, released in September, I believe. That's about all I could say about the movie, because I signed an NDA when I got my paycheck. But I just want one of my classmates to see me on there, and then being like, "That's Kaylee."
That would be awesome.
That's the girl we treated like trailer trash because her parents didn't have money, and now she's on a Hollywood movie. Like, suckers. And I also just have Coda, my cat, to deal with. I'm not, like, that's my perspective. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but sometimes, especially since we're dealing with the themes of high school, I am going to tie this to the themes of high school, but dealing with the themes of high school and doing like getting all caught up in like the show offness of it all. I can look back now and be like, I ended up better than like anyone else I went to high school with, because I wasn't following no one's expectations of nothing. Like, I did my own thing. I made my own life. And I'm proud of everything I've done. So, yeah. Moving on, though, before we get too distracted with that. So then Nate and... Yep. Yeah, so Nate and... or Nate runs into Doberman, sorry. Doberman also has the gun at this point. And Nate accidentally slips up, and he realizes that Nate isn't Drake. So Sophie also comes over, and they get Doberman to change the password. So when Nate's like, it's done, Elliot's like, good to know. And he finishes beating up the goons, types in the new password. Hardison guides him on deleting the program. Program gets deleted. Sorry, I see it's 10 o'clock, so I'm trying to speed run this. So Manticore is now deleted. They get the... sorry, they have like their gloating moment. And I do got to mention this. Elliot does a hot move where he's at... I got to bring this up. He's like, sorry, I got to move my chair. He's like at the computer typing in, here's the goon. Does like the elbow, and it does like it does like the elbow, and it does like that, and then goes back, and then starts typing away. That's hot. I had to mention it. So basically, it turns out that sorry.
But I will say that was the goon. Like, leave me alone.
It's just swipe across the mouth. I'm sorry, that's hot.
That is true.
That is hot.
That is very hot.
Yeah, so basically the short version is the team basically used neurolinguistic programming in order to get Doberman to change the password to Badger 85. Which throughout the episode, that was all like the Badger and 85 references. And so Doberman basically then has a Scooby-Doo moment, bolts with the gun in his hand, gets tackled by FBI agents in the middle of the reunion. But what's funny is right before Doberman comes in, we get a cameo actually by producer Paul Bernard as he's like pumping a keg. And you hear an off-screen voice be like, "What's wrong, Schmitty?" And he's like pumping the keg. And Schmitty's like, "Holy crap! They're out of beer. They're out of beer."
I want to know how many times do they have to film that?
I don't know. Yeah, so but like it was just a funny little cameo. But moving on, so they do like the wrap up. Nate and Sophie revealing that the FBI did get a tip off, and Elliot sent all the information he found at the office there. And Harrison's like collecting cameras, and we find out he told Cyrus that Manticore is now down. So then we see Cyrus talking to his family, and I think it's maybe like a wife, his kids, I think parents, maybe like sister too.
Yeah.
It's like a group of people, and it's kind of emotional as he's like finally able to talk to them after God knows how long. Oh yeah, so right before
I got a little teary-eyed.
Yeah. But now so to basically end the episode, Nate and Sophie end up winning Homecoming King and Queen. And Carson, and of course Nate's like, "Carson," and I was like, "Hey, I don't rig elections," which Hardison, give it time. And Parker's like, "I didn't even know they had a homecoming queen." Okay.
That was cute.
Yeah, because then Nate and Sophie just kind of like start dancing to the music. And Nate's trying to ask, like, do you think, like, he's basically trying to get another clue as to what Sophie's real name is. Nate's like, do you think we would have been like a couple in high school? And so it's like, Grace Peltz and the great Drake McIntyre. And it's like, no, like Nathan Ford, and he tries saying, like, he tries getting like Sophie to say her real name. So I was like, don't ruin the moment. I just start dancing. And also like Parker and Hardison dance too. Like Parker descends from a rig and she's standing on Hardison's toes. And what's funny is
and he's just like swaying.
It's
so cute.
It's cute. And then there's Elliot being bitchy because he ain't got
grumpy.
He's grumpy because he don't got no one to dance with. Because goes like, everyone have a good time with the dance. Anyone know about
Belly made it out okay.
It's like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if Belly made out alive. And then that's where the episode ends. So, yeah, to kind of speed run a bit of my final notes. I did enjoy most of this episode. I feel like a lot of the episode did not age well due to like the nature of some of the jokes. And again, I relate to Sophie and Hardison's high school experiences because I was bullied, and so I'm kind of based on like high school, and also I hate cheerleaders and mean girls. But I also felt like this episode was like, it kind of came across as a bit too predictable. But I don't know if that predictability comes from the fact that I've seen this episode 10 times.
Probably
does something to do with that, but even like plot wise. But I do like that this episode is setting up like the global, because like the season 3 is the season where we go global. So I like that this is kind of the setup for that. With having like our client, that like Iran being like the country of the country they have to basically help. So yeah, I like that. But it definitely, I still don't think this is one of Leverage's stronger episodes. But overall, I still feel like it's not too bad. Some of the jokes, though, do leave a bad taste in my mouth, but that's more of a personal situation, so I'm not going to count that against the overall episode, like, wise. Yeah, those are all my things. Did you have any kind of final thoughts before I start the wrap up?
Nope. I really like this episode.
I mean, I like
Because
it too.
It's different than like the other stuff they've done up to this point.
Yeah, because usually they like, there's no like, they're not playing like real people. Like they're usually playing just made up characters. They're not having to play like a real person. Yeah, so see, I gotta remember what the next episode is. But so while I look that up, if you don't have any other final thoughts, I am going to start wrapping up. So I would like to once again thank our sponsor, napco.org. If you want to support the podcast, you can buy us a coffee on Ko-Fi. This is our Discord where you can communicate with us. We also have an Instagram, Films and Fandoms, or FN Fandoms with Kaylee and Lex. We also have a Twitter, FN Fandoms. You could go on my website, kayleesantalacton.com. You can follow me on Twitter at MissMovieFan_67 and on TikTok at MovieFan_67. You could also go under, you can follow Alex on Instagram at Alex_the_Alley_Cat. And on Twitter at AlexJellyCat. And on TikTok at AlexJellyCat. And you could go support our friends over at Mall Filmworks. See what kind of stuff they got going on. And I just realized that, so it's for 67 Chevy Impala. Okay. Any 67 comments, your asses get blocked. Anyways, I am going to end the episode there, but the next time you see us, we are going to be talking the inside job.
Fun.
Sorry, I had like a sneeze there, and I was trying to hold it back, but I'm sorry. Yeah, so the next episode we're going to be talking about is the inside job, which I think is one of the most personal Parker episodes we get yet.
Yep.
So I'm very excited to see that. And any other final thoughts before I end the stream?
Nope.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys